Let's talk about 8 steps you need to get your ex back. Hey folks, I am Jim Miller, helping you find and keep the love of your life and write a better love story. I'm going to ask, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. It should be in this corner over here. When you do that, tick the bell icon. That way you're notified whenever I upload new content as I upload it. Also would like to ask you to give me a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment in the section down there. Check the description for some free ebooks that I give away. Let's get into the content here. 8 steps. That's 8. 8 steps you need to make to get back together with your ex. Now, let me start by saying that this is in no way an exhaustive list of things that you can do to get back together with your ex, number one. Number two, all people are different. All breakups are different. Some of these things will work on some people, some of them will not, okay? But these are just some basic guidelines that you should follow if you are trying to get back together with your ex. And step number one is to give your ex some actual space. Really, give them some actual space. Get out of panic mode. And you all know what panic mode is. Get out of panic mode for a few minutes. Give them some space. If you know in your head, in your heart, that you're not going to talk to this person for, say, 30 days, if you know you're not going to contact them, you can shut that part of your life off and you can worry about working on yourself and focusing on yourself. And you don't have to worry about planning the perfect thing to say and whatnot like that. Take the time. Give them the space. They need the space. They broke up with you, which is basically them saying, I don't want you in my life. And if they're telling you they want you in their life, they need to experience exactly what life is like without you. This is why you need to give them some space. Don't contact them. Don't reach out to them. Don't run into them by mistake. Just give them no contact. Give them some space. But more importantly, take that space for yourself. Number two, do not play the if-only game. I think we've all done this. I know I'm real guilty of it. If only I hadn't have said this. If only I had done that. If only I would have sent flowers on Valentine's Day. If only I wouldn't have done this. If only I had done this differently. If only my ass, okay? You can play that game till the cows come home, and it doesn't matter. You cannot go back and change what has happened in the past. The only thing you can do is commit to be better in the future. Do not play the what if. There's something I'm going to talk about a little bit about evaluating a relationship, and you can look at these things. Don't play what if and waste your time and energy on them. Figure out a strategy going forward in this relationship or in another, what you're going to do differently. Number three, and this is important, folks, don't be out talking shit about your ex, okay? Don't be out talking shit about your ex. That stuff has a way of getting back to them sometimes, and when it does, it usually is not pretty at all. Why'd you say such and such, or you told so-and-so, this. Not good. Don't talk shit about them, but by the same token, don't be out saying, the woe is me, how terrible your life is without this person. These things have a way of getting back to your ex. Like I said, it's a small world, much smaller when you really think about it. So don't talk shit about them, but don't talk about how miserable you are without them either. Just live your life as a single person for right now. You're a single person, you're good, you're awesome, all by yourself. You don't need this person in your life. You want this person in your life, but you don't need them. Don't blame everything on them and talk crap about them, and don't tell everybody how miserable you are. Step number 4, and this is where you have to roll up your sleeves a little bit. I ask people to evaluate everything about the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean you spend 30 days sitting there writing down stuff and evaluating it and just going over it and over it and over it in your head. But when you get some time, you need to sit down, pen and paper, and actually write down what was good in the relationship. There were some good things. What was bad in the relationship? There were some areas that needed to be improved, obviously. What caused the breakup? Think about that. What caused the breakup? You have some idea, even if your ex hasn't told you exactly why, you have some idea of what happened and what led up to it. So evaluate this stuff. Then you need to look at it and say, is it fixable? And am I committed to fixing it? Your ex may not be committed to fixing it, but you can't commit for them. You can be committed to fixing it. Or you can be committed in the future relationships that going forward you will do better. You will do something different. You will have a different strategy for your love life. But evaluate it. You'd be surprised how many people that I work with, when they really sit down and really do an evaluation on the relationship and what was good and what was bad, and what can be fixed and what shouldn't be fixed, A lot of people sometimes will go, you know what, this person just wasn't really right for me. I had to compromise too much to be with them. There was too much that I was having to put forward in order to keep the relationship alive. Maybe you were putting all the effort in. So evaluate everything and take a look at it. Don't spend all your time evaluating, because you want to spend time working on yourself as well. But evaluate everything about the relationship. Determine whether or not you even want it. Number 5, somewhere along the line, you're going to have to reestablish contact. And I'll get into that in a minute. But here's where a lot of people get to. Don't kill yourself with analysis paralysis. You know what I'm talking about. Looking at every single detail and planning out every single thing, the way that it's going to go, how it's going to go, what you're going to do next, then what they're going to say, then what you're going to say, then what they're going to say, then what you're going to say. We've all done it. Well, maybe not all. I guarantee I have. Most people will do this. Do not kill yourself with analysis paralysis. Keep it casual and take it as it comes. Take a deep breath and just, accept things the way they are, and just accept that you're going to move forward in a certain manner. Make a decision and stick to it. Number 6, you got to start a conversation. Somewhere along the line, you got to start a conversation. I'll put up in one of these corners after the video. I did a video a while back called 5 texts that are okay to send to your ex. And I like text messaging because text messaging doesn't put them on the spot. If you call them, they have to answer the phone or they have to let it go to voicemail. Sending them a text gives them time to read it, gives them time to respond back to it. And again, I'll put a link up there for 5 texts that are okay to send to your ex. I like short texts. I don't like I miss you, I love you. I'll put another one up there, 5 texts that you don't want to send to your ex. Can't live without you or anything like that. There are there's 5 easy basic texts. It just kind of throws it out there. It starts a conversation. Most of them do not require a response. If you send them something that requires a response, quite often your ex has to respond, and they're doing it out of just because of the way that the thing is worded. This is something you can send to them that they don't have to necessarily respond to. And if they don't respond, there may be a message there. But this is something that just can open the door and get the conversation started. Now, understand something, folks. The only reason for trying to contact an ex, if they haven't contacted you, if they contact you, again, stay casual, stay calm about it. But the only reason to try and contact an ex, the only reason to start that conversation is to find a way to meet up, actually physically meet up and get together. And put yourself in front of them, put them in front of you, where you can actually have a one-on-one human conversation. To actually be in each other's presence. There's something very powerful about this as opposed to just shooting a text message. You don't know what someone's thinking when they're shooting a text message. They could just be being nice or something like that. Actually being in front of them one-on-one is a whole different ballgame. So the goal of any conversation that you start with an ex is to actually have a way of meeting up. And let's talk about that meetup for a minute. Number 7, meeting up with your ex. When you do get together, you want it to be casual and you want it to be neutral. I don't recommend, hey, come to my house, let me come over to your house or something like that. You want it to be some neutral area and you want it to be casual. You don't want to plan some big dinner, some weekend away or anything like that, unless it gets to that point. I mean, that's always a possibility. Again, all breakups are different. Your ex may be really open to the idea, hey, listen, we screwed up. Let's get back together. Let's try this thing again. Okay? That's a possibility. But if you're not to that level, a casual meetup, maybe a cup of coffee, maybe a drink somewhere in a neutral area, someplace that's kind of neutral to you both, is a very good start. And it's a way that you can start that conversation. You can continue that conversation that you started. And number 8, the most important one on here, always save the best for last. If you manage to try and get if you start getting this relationship back together, actually do the work. All that stuff up there when you did the evaluation one, I see this so many times. People put a lot of work and a lot of effort into working on themselves and coming up with a game plan of, things that they need to change, things that they need to do better, things, areas that they need to improve. And they start to work towards that, and then the ex comes back and they stop. They fall right back into the same, relationship that they were in. And unfortunately, if you do get back together, once the honeymoon phase wears off, generally speaking, you are going to find yourself in the same broken relationship that you both got out of a month or 2 earlier. So if you do manage to piece it back together, or if you're starting to move towards getting back together, all that work that you figured out in the evaluation, actually do the work. That's what's important. If you don't do the work, you're not really going to get anywhere. If you do the work, even if the relationship fails, you are in a better position to attract someone even better into your life. I know that nobody wants to hear that because they want this particular person back. I just got to have my ex back. Believe me, I've seen it happen. I've lived it. You do this work on yourself, you become a better version of yourself, much better chance of attracting your ex back first and making that work if you actually continue to do the work. But if not, you can attract someone even better. As crazy as it sounds, it does happen. It happens all the time. It's happened to me. So anyway, folks, that's kind of what I want to talk to you tonight. 8 steps there to take, help you get your ex back. Again, down in the description down below, a couple of free ebooks that I give away. One of them is called 7 Simple Ways to Get Your Ex Back. It's got some great ideas, kind of like this video. It's not going to answer all of your questions, but it will push you, it'll put you on the right path for that. Another one down there for the ladies. And my personal email is down there as well. Go ahead and if you something that you want to talk about, you have a relationship question, please post a comment down below. If you don't want to post it in a public forum, send me an email. I generally try to respond to those within about 24 hours or so. To any comments or any emails. So again, folks, Jim Miller helping you find and keep the love of your life. Check out my website, abetterlovestory.com. I'm working on it. It's a little rough right yet, but we're trying to get it there. So again, have a great night.